Entertainment was essential to daily life in ancient Rome. As noted by Juvenal, it seemed that all Romans were interested in was bread and circuses. And with circuses, amphitheaters, and public baths galore, the Romans never seemed to get bored. Chariot racing was Rome's oldest and most popular pastime. They were held in hippodromes, or circuses. As a sport, it was highly expensive, but organized into a highly profitable business. If successful, a charioteer could become rich and famous throughout Rome. Images of charioteers survive in sculpture, mosaic, and molded glassware, sometimes even with inscribed names. There were 4 chariot racing factions: the blues, greens, whites, and reds, the colors of which were worn by respective charioteers during races. The factions were great rivals, which sometimes led to violence among the supporters. In general, however, the greens and blues were the favorites. The first circus was the Circus Maximus. Like all circuses, it consisted of tiers of seats built around a U-shaped arena, with an elaborately ornamental barrier, the spina, running down the middle. Metai, or turning posts, adorned each end of the course. At the open end of the U waited up to 12 4-horse chariots. These are the starting gates where the races began. Drivers raced around the spina for 7 laps. At each end of the spina were 7 lap markers, one of which was removed after each lap was run by the charioteers. Several different types of shows all took place in the arena of an amphitheater. The word arena comes from the Latin word meaning sand, which was placed on the amphitheater floor to soak up spilled blood. Amphitheaters were most commonly used for gladiatorial matches, which had been adapted from Etruscan funeral rites. Gladiators came from various lots of life. The majority of gladiators were either condemned criminal slaves, prisoners of war, or volunteers who signed up to do shows for a fee. They were trained at government-controlled gladiator schools. There were 4 main types of gladiators. The Murmillo fought with a helmet adorned with a fish crest, an oblong shield, and a sword. He usually fought a retiarius. The retiarius was a lightly armed gladiator with a net, brandishing either a trident or a dagger. The Samnite utilized a sword, a visor and a helmet, and an oblong shield. And the Thracian combated with a curved scimitar and round shield. Various other weapons, women, and sometimes even dwarves were used in the games. Special type of wild animal matches were very popular. Such bouts included men on foot and on horseback, known as bestiarii, who were usually either criminals, prisoners of war, or trained and paid fighters. The bestiarii fought exotic animals, which eventually led to an extensive trade market. Originally, wild animal matches took place in the morning of the games. The public executions were held at midday, and then the gladiatorial matches. Over time, however, these divisions became blurred, and often many fights would take place at once, giving the appearance of a battle. Other spectacles actually included mock naval battles, where the amphitheaters were filled with water and miniature ships competed. The design of the amphitheaters itself was oval or elliptical. Sloped seating could be supported on solid banks of earth, held by retaining walls with external staircases or vaulted masonry structures. Due to their massive size, they were usually constructed on the edge of a city or directly outside its walls. An awning provided protection from the elements for spectators, And in larger amphitheaters, service corridors and chambers beneath the floor held animals until they were to go out into the arena, which was done by ease of trap doors. The public baths were a place of leisure time during many Romans' daily routine. People from nearly every class, men, women, and children, could attend the public baths, similar to modern-day fitness clubs and community centers. Towards the center of the Roman baths, adjoining the dressing room, could be found the tepidarium, an exceedingly large, vaulted, and mildly heated hall. This could be found surrounded on one side by the frigidarium, a large, chilled swimming pool, about 200 feet by 100 feet, and on the other side by the caldarium, an area for hot bathing, warmed by subterranean steam. Hot air and steam baths were created by the use of the hippocaust. Sauna rooms were created by adding a pool of water, heated by the same fire heating the air below. This created a hot, humid space to clean oneself and converse with friends. It was composed of a raised floor, typically about 2 feet, supported by columns or pedestals of stone every few feet, with the space below left open. A furnace composed of a continuously burning fire created heat, which was then allowed to flow through the space below the raised floor, thus heating the floor and the rest of the room. Not only were the baths meant for leisure, but also for social gathering. In addition to the bathing areas could be found portico shops, marketing everything from food to ornaments to clothing. There were also sheltered gardens and promenades, gymnasiums, rooms for massage, libraries, and museums. Complementing these scholarly areas were beautiful marble statues and other artistic masterpieces. Entertainment and leisure were central to Roman life. The public games, or ludi, were originally part of religious festivals, but eventually entertainment superseded religion and the games became more numerous. Public officials used private games to gain support in elections. Enormous amounts of money were spent on the games, yet admission was free to the public.